hour on VTV News, banking industry to pave the way for digital transformation. And Trường Sa ensures steadfast support for fishermen. In a war news, TikTok and ByteDance sue to block U.S. law.
Broadcasting from Hanoi, the capital of Vietnam. VTV News starts right now.
Hello, it's 3 p.m. local time in Hanoi. You're watching VTV News. Prime Minister Phie emphasized that digital transformation has gone to every alley, knocked on every door, and reached every person at the 2024 Banking Industry Digital Transformation Day on Wednesday morning. At the event, he suggested that the industry must lead the way in digital transformation to provide practical benefits to individuals and businesses. Recently, the banking industry digital transformation has achieved many positive results. Non-cash services have been widely deployed across the country with an increasing number of users, and the payment value is 23 times greater than GDP. The industry has actively coordinated with the Ministry of Public Security to implement Project Zero Sig and offer many practical products and services to effectively serve people and businesses. Prime Minister Phie emphasized that a digital transformation is an objective requirement, a strategic choice, and a top priority in science and technology development at the current stage. Rice export prices continue to increase on the international market. According to the Vietnam Food Association, the export price of 5% broken rice is currently at $583.74 US per ton, an increase of $5 US per ton. The 25% broken rice increased by $1 per ton to $553.82 US per ton. Notably, the price of 100% broken rice remains stable. With this adjustment, Vietnam rice export price has regained its leading position. Currently, Vietnam 5% broken rice is $3 US per ton, higher than Thai rice of the same type, and $9.98 US per ton, higher than Pakistani rice. Domestic rice prices have largely remained stable. In the Mekong Delta locality, a small quantity of rice from the spring-summer crop is currently available. The only summer-autumn rice in some area is being stored by traders. This year, Vietnam aims for an agriculture, forestry, and fishery export turnover of 54 to 55 billion US dollar. To achieve this ambitious goal, while also setting new records for key products turnover, it is critical to invest in processing to further improve export quality values. More to follow.
With all 4 cold drying lines running at maximum capacity, this cooperative can process over 300 tons of various fresh fruits, plums, pears, persimmons, peaches, and strawberries. Deep processing allows fruits with short harvest and storage periods to be consumed at a higher value, providing increased opportunities for utilization.
Before this technology was available, farmers faced significant challenges in preserving fruits, such as plums, strawberries, and persimmons, often resulting in waste. However, with processing, the value of fruits increases substantially, enhancing efficiency and encouraging farmers to cultivate crops more effectively.
In 2023, Vietnam's export turnover for processed fruits and vegetables reached nearly 1.2 billion US dollars, constituting 21% of the total fruit and vegetable export turnover. This marks the second consecutive year of achieving the milestone of over 1 billion US dollars in processed fruit and vegetable exports. Beyond vegetables and fruits, various agricultural, forestry, and fishery products undergo processing to improve their export value.
Numerous sectors, including charfish and wood products, have embraced deep processing to enhance their value. Beyond wood chips, there's a surge in processed wooden furniture for export to the US and EU markets. Vietnamese companies have even set up operations in the US to directly distribute their products by passing intermediaries.
processing is considered a solution to enhance competitiveness, establish a proficient product chain, and generate higher value exports. Vietnam strives to become one of the top 10 global agricultural processing hubs through strategic investments in its processing infrastructure.
Following the harvest, the stages of dry milling and coffee grading also result in significant emissions. On average, 450 grams of roasted coffee yielded approximately 5 kilograms of carbon emissions. Hence, implementing a circular economy model across the coffee supply and processing chains become imperative to mitigate greenhouse gas emissions.
After harvest, coffee beans are transported to the factory. Coffee husks generated during the extraction process are utilized as biomass fuel, substituting for fossil fuel in boilers. Throughout the process, 100% of the waste is recycled and repurposed, ensuring sustainability.
This approach aims to eliminate solid waste or landfill emissions into the environment, presenting a distinctive aspect of our circular economy model. In terms of coffee processing, on average, we mitigate nearly 15,000 tons of CO2 emissions annually.
We observe a trend in the food industry towards increasingly environmentally friendly and greener products. This shift is driven by market demands, consumer preferences, and the pressure on businesses to supply goods responsibly.
Research conducted by the University of London indicates that adopting sustainable practices in coffee cultivation, transportation, and consumption could potentially reduce carbon emissions by up to 77%. Achieving this significant reduction requires collaboration among all stakeholders in the supply chain to minimize greenhouse gas emissions. Consequently, farmers and businesses involved in the coffee supply chains are hopeful that these initiatives will prioritize efficiency in emission reduction, driving progress towards sustainable development.
Ho Chi Minh City has seen nearly 110,000 workers find jobs in the past 4 months, an increase of about 1% over the same period last year, according to information from the City Departments of Labor, War and Ballot, and Social Affairs. Of these, nearly 50,000 are new jobs, marking an increase of nearly 2% over the same period last year. In April alone, nearly 29,000 jobs were created. Businesses in fields such as footwear, garment, food, engineering, mechanics, construction, and architecture have been actively recruiting, but there are few job seekers. It is projected that Ho Chi Minh City will need about 77,000 additional workers in the second quarter of this year. Vietnam continued to be an attractive destination for foreign investors this year. Ho Chi Minh City has led the country in the first 4 months of the year in attracting FDI with 420 new projects with a total investment capital of more than $200 million. In particular, there are 652 foreign investors contributing capital through share acquisitions with a total capital contributions of about $713 million. Thanks to a special mechanism, the city has achieved this result.
After many years of operation in Ho Chi Minh City, this Japanese software development and testing enterprise has invested in a new facility. Thanks to Resolution number 98, they can scale up.
Resolution number 98 helps facilitate the expansion of startups by providing infrastructure and support for experts.
This telecommunications software research enterprise also intends to expand investment in Ho Chi Minh City. They expect that Resolution number 98 will allow controlled testing of new solutions within the Quang Trung software campus.
We hope that Resolution 98 with the sandbox model will help businesses like us. After doing research, we will be able to test in Vietnam instead of going abroad to test due to new unlicensed technologies.
Ho Chi Minh City has a policy to attract strategic investors. Taking advantage of Resolution number 98, Ho Chi Minh City will give a 150% incentive for research and development costs as a tax deduction and prioritize customs and tax procedures for import and export goods.
Policies for strategic investors in priority fields include tax benefit policies as well as a number of other support policies.
Resolution 98 empowers Ho Chi Minh City to have certain specific mechanisms. It will improve the investment environment and increase the attractiveness for foreign investors.
Ho Chi Minh City currently leads the country in the number of projects and a valid foreign investment capital, with 12,520 projects and registered capital of $57.64 billion. With many outstanding policy mechanisms, the city will take advantage of the opportunity to receive investment from many countries around the world.
According to the Vietnam Airport Corporation ACV, the construction contractor consortium has committed to accelerating the progress of many tasks at the Tân Sơn Nhất T3 station project, ensuring completions before April 30th, 2025 and subsequent operations. Currently, contractors are hastening the installations of mechanical and electrical systems and completing the architecture of the first and second floors. ACV continues to sign contracts with contractors for 120 days and nights and is determined to complete the main roof steel structure of the station and high-rise parking garage just in time for National Day on September 2nd. The project is also being carried out simultaneously with connecting traffic routes provided by Ho Chi Minh City to reduce traffic congestions around Tân Sơn Nhất Airport. Before moving on to some other news, let's take a look at foreign exchange rate for today, May 8th. Coming up next on VTV News, Trường Sa ensures steadfast support for fishermen. And Bình Thuận proactive measures against water shortages. The Trường Sa archipelago served as a vital location not only for its residents and military personnel, but also as a crucial support system for fishermen. Over recent years, significant infrastructure developments, such as ship docks and fishery service centers, have been implemented across the islands. These structures support fishermen in their sea ventures while reinforcing national sovereignty over maritime territories.
Fishermen from Ninh Thuận province has been fishing at sea for more than 2 weeks. To support these extended stays, facilities such as a free boat repair zone and a small supermarket offering provisions are accessible around the clock. The Fishery Logistics Service Center on Da Tây Island can accommodate up to 200 vessels at a time.
This docking area is so large that it can house dozens of ships at a time. When trouble arises off the coast, we can always communicate with the dock for immediate relief.
Currently, the Trường Sa archipelago maintains 4 ship docks. They are strategically positioned on Sông Tử Tây, Da Tây, Sinh Tồn, and Trường Sa Islands. These docks have become indispensable resting spots and shelters during storms for offshore fishermen.
We have recently put a new wharf, an ice factory, and a fuel supply station into operation to better accommodate fishermen.
Beyond providing logistic assistance, the Trường Sa Island district have prioritizes the health and well-being of fishermen. The local authorities have built medical centers and clinics that stand ready to provide necessary medical attention, with ships or helicopter transportation to the mainland for urgent cases.
Instances of soft tissues, limbs injuries, or acute medical conditions like spondylitis, fishermen receive treatments and surgery at the local infirmary, supported by professionals from Military Hospital 175 and telemedicine consultations.
Supporting these fishermen not only maintains fishing operations, but also protects national fishing territories and island sovereignty. With the ongoing commitment of the Fisheries Development Fund, Khánh Hòa Province plans to further invest in infrastructure and logistics services in the Trường Sa Island district.
On Tuesday afternoon, continuous heavy rain flooded many roads in Thủ Đức City, Ho Chi Minh City, and Đồng Nai Province. Many roads in Thủ Đức City were inundated after the downpour, causing difficulties for travelers and cars to stall. The rainwater fell so quickly that the sewer couldn't drain in time, leading to an overflow onto the streets and a subsequent unpleasant smell. Earlier in the day, extensive heavy rains were reported in District 1, District 3, Thủ Đức City, District 12, Gò Vấp District, and Tân Bình in Ho Chi Minh City. The heavy rainfall also caused flooding on many roads in Biên Hòa City and Đồng Nai, with some areas submerged under about 50 to 60 centimeters of water. The rain and strong winds resulted in uprooted trees. After enduring a record heat wave that lasted several months, many southern areas have received their first rains of the season in the past 2 to 3 days, providing some respite from the heat. Amid water shortages and scarcity during the peak of dry season, numerous farmers in Bình Thuận Province have taken proactive measures to seek alternative water sources for irrigation. They have also implemented water-saving irrigation solutions to conserve resources and safeguard their crops through this challenging period.
In Hàm Thuận Nam district, numerous small-capacity reservoirs, rivers, and streams have already dried up, leaving many dragon fruit gardens without sufficient water. To address this, farmers are resorting to drilling wells and pumping water to irrigate their dragon fruit trees. They're also adjusting their irrigation schedules, extending intervals while reducing water usage to prevent plant wilting.
We must prepare to extract water from drilled wells, despite some wells nearly drying up, to ensure the survival of our trees.
According to data from Bình Thuận Province's agricultural sector, over 360 hectares of dragon fruit trees in Hàm Thuận Nam district are suffering from water scarcity. Additionally, in Hàm Tân district and La Di town, nearly 102,000 hectares of dragon fruit trees are at risk of damage due to drought conditions. Both the agricultural sector and local authorities advocate for responsible water usage in irrigation.
Local authorities have recommended that farmers drill wells to store enough water to irrigate perennial plants within a 15-day interval. We will provide water for them to store in ponds. Farmers should continue to utilize existing wells and adopt water-saving solutions for farming.
The remaining water in the reservoirs is allocated as a priority for perennial crop irrigation and domestic water supply. Hence, it's crucial for farmers to store water in anticipation of a prolonged drought. They should also refrain from planting the summer-autumn crop without a planned crop schedule to prevent damage caused by drought and water scarcity.
Saline intrusion continues in the downstream river areas in the south central regions and looks like persisting in the coming months as the dry season here extends until the end of August. The biggest concern for people in this area is the serious impact on domestic water sources of saline intrusions. Consequently, localities have proactively examined coping measures to provide people with access to water for daily use.
In recent days, the water flow from upstream to the Cái River in Nha Trang has been at 23 cubic meters per second. Meanwhile, the water extraction capacity of the local water plant is 1.7 cubic meters per second. There should be enough water for daily use, but the water supply is threatened by a saline intrusion.
If the water flow is lower than the extraction capacity, there will be adaptation measures such as stopping other activities to prioritize domestic water supply.
In the past 4 months, the average water level on this river has been lower than the average for many years in the same period. Salinity has penetrated upstream about 8 kilometers from the sea mouth.
El Nino is still active, with little rainfall and prolonged heat, so there may be no late-season rains this year. It is necessary to use water wisely and to store some in case of prolonged heat.
This is a salt barrier dam on the Gai River. This project was implemented in 2018 with a total investment of nearly $30 million. Dealing with salination requires flexible solutions in water regulation. This system continuously updates the quality of water sources, especially salinity levels. Based on the data, the locality can supply water for water treatment plants and also provide water for domestic use.
One round of Muang Thang, the Soi Thai performed at the most location, had just been confirmed as a record by the Vietnam Records Associations. The Soi Thai dance performance was executed by nearly 2,000 employees of the Muang Thang group, lasting from May 2nd to May 7th, 2024 at 42 locations, including hotels and member units spread across the country and even in Laos capital Vientiane. This record draws inspiration from the historical land of Điện Biên and its glorious Điện Biên Phủ victory. This area is a melting pot of cultural highlights from the Thai ethnic people of Northwest, particularly the Soi Thai dance, which UNESCO has recognized as an intangible cultural heritage of humanity. As summer approaches, many domestic travelers are opting for road trips. In addition to air travel, this is a practical option to explore nearby destinations while cutting down on expenses. Travel industry expert forecasts a surge in road trip this summer. More to follow.
Many families are now planning their trip itineraries in anticipation of the peak tourist season. A large number of them are drawn to nearby destinations accessible by car or train.
I'm a little more into leisure travel in Sóc Sơn and Ba Vì districts. My number one pick lately has been nearby and affordable destinations.
I plan to travel with my family in our family car. It saves us a great deal on travel expenses and allows us to plan our trip at a time and place that best accommodates us.
Speaking of other popular types of travel, tourism companies are promoting road and rail travel, citing cost-effectiveness amidst persistently high domestic flight prices. They have reported receiving numerous inquiries for such journeys.
More tourists are opting for road travel. Some of them choose to go by train to the cities of Huế and Vinh, while others lean towards driving to Hạ Long, Hải Phòng, Mộc Châu and Hòa Bình.
Travel agencies are shifting their focus to areas near Hanoi, even within inner city. This trend helps businesses overcome difficulties in transporting passengers over great distances, and customers tend to seek destinations that are closer.
The shift towards road travel presents a prime opportunity for localities and tourism enterprises to innovate and offer unique experiences. In the upcoming summer tourist season, travelers are expected to seek deeper cultural and artistic engagements with their chosen destinations.
Coming up next in our War News, Malaysia launches intense anti-corruption plan. And TikTok ByteDance sued to block US law. Malaysian Prime Minister Anwar Ibrahim launched the National Anti-Corruption Strategies NACS 2024-2028 on Monday. Speaking at the launch, Prime Minister Anwar Ibrahim said that the new strategies would involve financial incentive for members of the public who assist the government in their anti-graft crackdown. Such financial incentives are currently offered to civil servants, or even members of the public who report a bribe will receive a reward equivalent to the amount they were bribed if the case is brought under investigation, prosecution, or conviction. The Malaysian Prime Minister added that the NACS includes 5 strategies related to education, civic responsibility, people voice, enforcement, and encouragement. It emphasizes integrity, transparency, and accountability in politics, public administrations, government procurement, law enforcement, and the judiciary. TikTok and its Chinese parent company ByteDance filed a lawsuit in U.S. federal court on Tuesday, challenging a new American law that could force the divestiture of the short video app or ban it. The company filed their lawsuit in response to a law signed by U.S. President Joe Biden on April 24th. This law requires ByteDance to sell the platform to an approved buyer within 9 months or face a complete ban in the United States. TikTok also argued that the law violates the U.S. Constitution on several grounds, stating that the divestiture is simply not possible. ByteDance has stated that it doesn't plan to sell TikTok. In the age of artificial intelligence, technological assistant for differently able groups is seeing breakthroughs. A Chinese-developed robotic dog could bridge the severe shortage of guide dogs in China, enhancing accessibility for the visually impaired in the age of artificial intelligence.
Pioneered by engineers at Shanghai Jiaotong University, the dog features a unique six-legged design as well as advanced navigation and safety features. During a field test, the robot demonstrated fluid movements such as advancing, stopping, and turning, and reacting instantaneously to nearby pedestrians and obstacles.
Our model has 6 legs. It steps with 3 legs at a time, always forming a stable triangular base and ensuring it can stand firmly without constant movement.
For Phie, walking just 100 meters with the robotic guide dog was an incredible experience.
When it guides me, my path is straighter. On my own, as someone who is blind, I cannot walk in a straight line.
Researchers noted that the robotic guide dog does not need a constant internet connection because it can indefinitely memorize a route once learned, mimicking the capabilities of a real dog. It is equipped with 4 senses: hearing, sight, speech, and touch.
We control the speed through a responsive interaction with the user. The guide cane senses the force from the user's hand, speeding up when pushed and slowing down when pulled.
Despite the introduction of China's first guide dog Mau Mau in December 2006, high costs and training difficulties have led to a significant gap between supply and demand, resulting in persistent challenges for visually impaired individuals in the country. The development of robotic guide dogs could significantly improve mobility and independence for many.
And now, as usual, let's continue with the weather forecast. And that's all the news for today. To rewatch our program, you can log on to VTVgo.vn or download our mobile application VTVgo. Thanks for watching and goodbye for now.